Today I'm reviewing the Supergoop Superscreen Daily Moisturizing Sunscreen. And really quick, I just want to say I purchase these products with my own money. So if you want to help keep the channel independent, check out my products at nobsbeauty.com or click on the Amazon link below. So, this is a newer sunscreen, but when the full size came out, to be honest, I couldn't commit to a huge size sunscreen, especially one that came in a jar. So, actually, the sunscreen's been in a couple kits I've purchased recently, so now I've had a chance to really give it a full try. And I'm going to let you guys know my thoughts on it based on my Sarah score scale. And really quick, this is a chemical sunscreen, and it contains avobenzone, 2.5% homosalate, 8% oxalate, 5% with cerium for blue light protection. So this makes it a good one just for daily use in the office if you sit at a computer a lot. Good one for that. So anyway, so I finally went through one little jar, so now I'm on to this guy. So on to my criteria. My first one is packaging, and obviously not a huge fan of the jar packaging. It's probably the major disappointment of this product is that the jar packaging. I just personally don't like having to dig my hands through a product. And there are a few ingredients which could be a little sensitive to light and air. So overall, especially with sunscreen being as, it definitely expires. But I'd highly recommend getting rid of it on or before the expiration date because of the jar packaging. It just has a tendency, if you're digging your hands in there, to get bacteria and things like that. So not a huge fan of the jar packaging, obviously. They could have put this in a squeeze tube so much easier. It probably would have been cheaper packaging for them anyway. My second criteria is alcohol, and it does contain phenethyl alcohol. It's second to the last ingredient on the list. And actually, I'm going to comment more on this in the fragrance criteria, so I'm not dinging them for including this in terms of alcohol, but it can be an issue for those that have very sensitive skin, but for most people, it's not going to be an issue. It wasn't an issue for me, and I tend to have pretty sensitive skin as well. So, and that alcohol is a fragrance ingredient. So, it's an aromatic alcohol, which is used primarily for fragrance. It has a slight, has a slight faint lilac floral scent. It does dissipate pretty quickly, but I could smell it. I asked a couple of friends, I'm like, can you smell there's fragrance, even though it says it's fragrance free, and there's another review site that mentioned and said this was fragrance free. And for the first time, they actually got to review of a product before I did. Usually they're like 3 weeks behind me, but I won't say their name, but they call this as fragrance free, and it definitely has a lilac scent, and I've confirmed that with several people, unless like the 2 jars I got were like an off product, I don't know. But that phenyl alcohol is used for fragrance. So they can say it's fragrance free, but I'm calling them out and it's not fragrance free. So anyway, my fourth criteria is the manufacturing location, and this is made in the U.S. Supergoop doesn't put it on any other products, but you go to their website, and everything's made in the U.S. So ease of use. Applies very easily. I highly recommend using it in place of your normal moisturizer that you use because it is pretty moisturizing. It's got kind of a thicker, it almost looks like sour cream in the container. Sour cream that smells like lilacs. So I'd recommend using this in place of your normal moisturizer because it is pretty hydrating. And then be sure it's the very last product you use in your routine unless you use a foundation over it. But definitely no white cast, which is nice. No pilling. It layers pretty well. The formula is pretty light. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin at all. It gives skin a nice satin finish. And probably best for those with normal to dry skin who don't mind a little bit of a scent, so which is probably the combination of that phenethyl alcohol and probably one of the sunscreen things doesn't help giving it a bit of a scent as well. So you can see it is super hydrating on my hand, so definitely use it in place of moisturizer. Otherwise, you're going to be very, very, very moisturized and don't need too much moisture. So anyway, so on to my sixth criteria, which is other antioxidants. So it's got some good hydrating ingredients: safflower, olazomes, which olazomes are a portion of protein from plant seeds that can also contain a large amount of vitamin E, which is very good for hydration. Safflower seed cake extract, which is the product of an oil bearing seeds and grains. Definitely adds hydration to skin. And then, I'm just going to butcher this. Afanzomenone Flos Aquae powder, which is algae, which also protects the skin and hydrates the skin and is good for skin. So, man, sorry about that, guys. I'll include the ingredient list below so you can look at it, and then probably somebody will leave me a comment. Here's how you say it. Thank you. Because no matter what, I'm just going to butcher it anyway. So basically, it's got a total ton of hydration ingredients. No real other antioxidants or skin-soothing ingredients, but good for hydrating your skin. So definitely suited for drier skin. My 7th criteria is animal testing, and the Supergoop brand is cruelty-free, which is very nice to see. Performance. I love the fact that it's a SPF 40, which is above and beyond the SPF 30, which I recommend for daily use. Definitely good enough for daily use, or if you're just going to use it for work days because of the blue light protection, that's definitely nothing wrong with that. Definitely more geared towards those with drier skin. It sets to probably a radiant, dewy finish, I would say. And recommend using a finishing setting powder or a longwear foundation over it. That'll help you, give you a bit more matte finish if you prefer more of a matte finish. And the one thing is, since it is so hydrating, during the day you might need a powder touch-up where you normally wouldn't have to, just because of how hydrating it is. So definitely bring your compact to work with you so you can blot it if you tend to get too oily throughout the day. Let's see. Found it worked good under most foundations, except for very hydrating foundations, and there's a few of them out there. There's not a lot. And can make skin look more oily than it normally is. So you can see on my one hand is drier than dry, and the other one is very hydrated. So, price. The full size is 1.7 ounces, and it sells for $38, which isn't terrible, but in my opinion, it's a little pricey for a product that needs to be applied as liberally as a sunscreen does. And then the jar packaging, again, probably at the end of the summer or at the end of the season, throw it away and get a new one. Yeah, so price is okay. I'd take the price a little bit better if it were in a squeeze tube. And then my 10th criteria is the it factor. Jar packaging is an issue. Those with very oily skin or oily skin probably won't like this too much. Those with very sensitive skin or those have issues with fragrance might have an issue with it because of that lilac scent from the phenethyl alcohol. And the chemical sunscreens, some of them can have a bit of a scent too, but it does fade away. But fragrance and then the chemical sunscreens with sensitive skin is also another issue. So, and then again, it's a bit pricey. So overall, I gave this a, let's see, what did I give this? Where did my thing go? I gave this a 6 out of 10, which is still good. You know what? If it's a sunscreen you like and you'll use it every day, go for it. That's my thoughts on it. So it's not perfect, but not everything is. Most things aren't. So anyway, so I'm interested if you guys have a chance to try this out yet or not, and if you have, what your thoughts are. So definitely leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Stay tuned for more reviews tomorrow on sunscreen. And thank you guys so much.